Emily's footsteps echoed softly against the empty city streets, each one heavier than the last. Her shoes were worn, soles barely holding together, and her stomach ached from another skipped meal. She clutched her small purse, counting the coins inside for the 100th time, just enough to cover the bus ride home, maybe a slice of bread if she was lucky. Life had a way of wearing her down, yet she kept moving forward, head held high, despite the exhaustion weighing her shoulders. As she passed the convenience store, a sudden movement caught her eye. Huddled near the doorway was a man, shivering beneath layers of ragged clothing. His hands were trembling, and a thin blanket barely covered his frail frame. Emily's heart twisted. She knew she barely had enough for herself, but the sight of someone else in such need pierced something deep inside her. I don't even have enough for dinner, she whispered to herself, voice heavy with doubt. But her eyes softened as she knelt slightly to meet his gaze. The man's eyes, full of quiet hope and silent pain, seemed to plead without words. Without thinking, Emily reached into her purse and pulled out the last penny she had, pressing it gently into his calloused hand. The man's eyes widened, and a small, grateful smile spread across his face. Emily stepped back, unsure if she'd done the right thing, but a warmth stirred in her chest, a fragile reminder that even in scarcity, generosity could bloom. Emily walked away from the convenience store, her mind swirling with doubt. She hugged her thin coat tighter around her shoulders, wondering if giving her last penny had been foolish. She had bills to pay, a bus ride home to cover, and yet, a strange warmth lingered in her chest. It was fleeting, like the soft glow of a candle in a dark room, but it made her feel unexpectedly light. Behind her, the man she had helped clutched the tiny coin like it was a treasure. Tears welled in his eyes as he looked up at the night sky, whispering a quiet, heartfelt thank you. His voice trembled with emotion, and for a moment, Emily stopped. Even from a distance, she could see the genuine relief etched on his face. She realized that her act, though small, had lifted a weight she couldn't even see. A few passers-by noticed the exchange. Some walked on, indifferent, but others lingered for a moment, exchanging glances that said, "Did you see that?" That small act of kindness, Emily couldn't hear their whispers, but she imagined them, and it made her heart swell. As she continued down the street, she realized that generosity wasn't measured by how much you had, it was measured by the courage to give when you felt you had nothing. The city lights flickered above, and Emily's steps felt a little lighter, carrying with them the invisible ripples of a small act that could change a life. Days passed, and Emily tried to push the memory of that night from her mind. Life was still a struggle, long hours at work, bills piling up, and the gnawing feeling of uncertainty that never seemed to leave her. And yet, something about that small act of giving stayed with her, like a quiet whisper reminding her that kindness mattered. One evening, as she returned home, a small package was waiting on her doorstep. It wasn't from anyone she knew. Curious and slightly anxious, she picked it up, feeling the unexpected weight in her hands. Tearing it open, she discovered a handwritten note nestled atop a bundle of items, groceries, a small prepaid card, and a few personal essentials she had been struggling to afford. The note simply read, "Kindness is never wasted. You are seen, and you are valued." Emily's hands trembled as tears filled her eyes. She sank to the floor, staring at the note, overwhelmed by a mixture of disbelief and profound gratitude. The realization washed over her. Her act of generosity, humble as it was, had come back to her in the most unexpected and transformative way. For the first time in weeks, Emily felt hope. It wasn't just relief for her material needs, it was a reassurance that small acts of selflessness could ripple through the world in ways she could never predict. The gift wasn't just the items in the package, it was a reminder that humanity, compassion, and love were alive, and that she was part of something bigger than herself. With the unexpected gift still fresh in her mind, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose. Life was still challenging, but something had shifted inside her, a quiet determination to let kindness guide her actions, no matter how small. She began noticing opportunities to help others, a coworker struggling with a heavy load of files, a neighbor juggling groceries and a fussy toddler, a stranger looking lost on a crowded street. Each act, no matter how tiny, filled her with the same warmth she had felt when she gave her last penny. One rainy afternoon, she spotted a young boy standing outside a cafe, soaked through and shivering, holding a crumpled paper cup in his hands. She approached him, offering her umbrella and a warm snack she had packed for herself. The boy's eyes widened, and he managed a shaky smile, whispering, "Thank you." In that moment, Emily felt the invisible thread connecting their lives, a reminder that compassion could travel farther than she had ever imagined. Word of her quiet acts began to spread, not loudly, but enough that those around her noticed a subtle change in the community. People started helping each other more, inspired by her example. Emily realized that even a single person's small choices could spark something bigger than themselves. Sitting quietly one evening, she reflected on how far she had come. From giving her last penny to a stranger, to becoming a beacon of hope for those around her. She understood now that generosity wasn't just about money, it was about the courage to care, even when the world seemed indifferent. The following weekend, Emily found herself sitting on a worn wooden bench in the park, watching the world move around her. Children laughed as they chased each other through puddles, couples strolled hand in hand, and strangers offered smiles to one another without expectation. The city felt different somehow, lighter, brighter, as if the small acts of kindness she and others had sown were blossoming quietly all around. From across the path, she noticed a familiar figure, the man she had given her last penny 2 weeks ago. He walked with a little more dignity now, carrying a small bag of food, and when their eyes met, a gentle smile passed between them. No words were needed. That single coin had not only helped him survive, it had sparked a chain of hope and humanity that extended far beyond what either of them could see. Emily wiped a tear from her cheek, her heart swelling with a mix of gratitude and wonder. She realized that kindness wasn't a fleeting gesture, it was a force capable of transforming lives, including her own. Every smile she shared, every hand she lent, created ripples she might never witness, but they were there, quietly changing the world. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of gold, Emily whispered to herself, "Sometimes, giving even the smallest thing can leave the biggest impact." And in that moment, she understood fully, the world wasn't as harsh as it seemed. Compassion lived in every heart willing to act, and she had found hers.